Alright, I'm here to kind of do a VOD review for you guys. Um, so this is White Lotus Academy versus Frosted Tips. So just a quick look at these comps here. What I want you guys to realize is that you guys, and this is actually stated in the chat, they think that you're a pick comp, but that is not really what you guys are. You're a kind of a mid-game team fight, kind of really heavy engaged style comp. Um, so that's kind of how I think you guys should be playing out this game. So you want to fight over these mid-game objectives, like your dragons and then maybe your early barons and those kinds of things, and just try and get enough of a lead from there that you can snowball into the late game. So as far as comps go, you guys really just want to look for engages. You have Leona, you have Lissandra, Gragas, all those people can start fights for you. As well as the Gangplank, to be honest. You can start with an ult just to keep them zoned, and if you put it behind them, you can have them walk into you, essentially. One of the big things I want you to notice is that their comp has 2 globals on it, which is an issue for you, because it allows them to get to fights where you guys catch them outnumbered very quickly. So the way you get around this is through attacking the globals. And I know this is a pretty basic thing, but just make sure that you're aware that you need to be attacking places where the Galio or the Shen are. You need to facilitate ways of creating situations where that's the case. Because they're going to want to set up some kind of 1-3-1 with their Shen and Galio in lanes, and then the rest of the 3 in another lane with Thresh playing defense, essentially. So what you want to do is you want to force situations where the Galio and Shen are already on you. So one thing you can do is you can use like the Lissandra or the Leona to start and engage. Only one. You should not use both in this case. You use one to start the fight, so you have the Shen and the Galio TP in, or however they want to do it, and you have the Gragas disengage with his barrel. Then you can go back to an objective and search for another engage with your Lissandra Gangplank or Leona Gangplank, the opposite order. So that's one way you can abuse their globals a little bit. So you guys, your comp, just speaking again in general terms, you can also play a 1-4 split with the Gangplank in the 1 and everyone else in a 4. Alternatively, what I actually like a little better is putting your Lissandra as the 1. Because it allows you to stop TPs. So if you engage with, say, these 4, the Gragas, Gangplank, Lucian, and Leona, and you have your Lissandra with the Shen, then you can find a way to stop the Shen from teleporting in. And while that's fine and it's a little suboptimal, I still like the just the 5-man fighting over objectives. Their comp, though, scales really well, so you guys gotta win in the mid-game, otherwise you're in trouble. So, with that, let's just go into the game and see what happens.
Actually, the Lissandra took Aftershock, and that's a little bit surprising. All right, looks like we're going to be getting into the game. These teams have fast computers. Thank the Lord.
I don't know if I'm a huge fan of the Aftershock in this game in the Lissandra. I think there's a couple different ways you can run this. You can either run Aftershock with the typical tanky build, with like an hourglass and in the proto belt type of thing, or you can run the, I don't know, some kind of offensive keystone, maybe a comet or something with the with like the Ludens build.
Shen is walking forward.
Super typical White Lotus start, just 5-man kill somebody type of thing. I like it.
Flash out, and there it goes. First blood goes to Lucian.
So you burned 1 flash for it? Yep. That's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really have the chance there. He could have, but, well, honestly, he could have flashed right away after that E, and he would have probably been able to get fine if he flashed over the wall, but he didn't decide to use it, and he gave it first blood.
I'm just going to let this early game go a little bit. It's not too exciting. So you guys have to realize that they probably got vision in your bottom side when you did that. So what I would actually recommend as the jungler here is starting in your blue. Because when you go into this red, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to see you, because any good team after that 5-man invade will come into your jungle and put down 1 or 2 wards. So there's a good chance they know you're starting here, and that makes it a whole lot easier to track you as opposed to if you start blue. I know normally you'd probably want to start red, get the leash from your bottom lane, but in this case, with that information, I would start top side.
As often as possible.
Yeah, I mean the only issue with it is that Thresh Xayah doesn't really bring a lot level 1. Like, Thresh is fine, but Xayah doesn't really do much level 1. So I don't think they're going to really have enough damage to kill anyone. But they do get that wave pushing, they do get the early XP in their favor.
You got a misplay by Thresh.
Another thing to note is that starting at level, 2 or so, every single one of your lanes is going to have push priority. So you guys have complete advantage as to whether, you want the lane to be pushing into you, pushing into your opponent, however you want to do it. Is that you guys have that option. So what I would recommend is having basically all your members just go into basically that's how I have all your members push right away, because Graves isn't super dangerous early on in terms of ganking. You pretty much just gotta worry about him scaling up.
But Gragas did not see Graves, that I know of. So this is a pretty cheeky idea from Gragas here.
I do like this jungle split, but they know exactly where you're at, so they know exactly what's going on. And now that the Graves hasn't showed up, you probably know exactly what's going on too, so... Just something to note that Gragas is on this top side of this map, or Graves is on the top side of the map, and then you have control of the bottom side right now.
So the one ward saw him go for Scuttle, and it didn't see him come back.
So I think your job as the Gragas this game is primarily going to be counter ganking this Graves, because you want all your lanes pushing in this game, and so you want to just kind of follow him around and make sure that you're there to stop his ganks. You don't necessarily need to be super proactive on your own, you just need to be able to react to his positioning.
So far, though, there hasn't been a lot of action, but looks like in the bot lane, Leona's going to come in on the Xayah, get her stun off, but Xayah gets the root off, and then Thresh gets the Q there. Looks like not much is going to happen. I don't think any sums were used. Nope. Just a short little skirmish that White Lotus tried to use their early level advantage, which I'm surprised they got that level advantage when Xayah and Thresh were in the lane first and had the chance to push it in. That's surprising.
Is going for a gank, but it looked like a counter gank potentially. But Gragas
So Finn here is playing like he knows the Graves is here, and that's fine. What I would have liked to see is the Gragas up here.
No red buff on the Graves there, so the gank is not very successful.
So going back there might be a touch greedy, especially if you think he's up there. Like if you're sitting behind this turret and you can flash body slam onto that gank or onto the Graves, especially when he moves up without his Shen, you have the possibility of killing him. And normally he shouldn't do that. So that's actually a mistake on his part, making himself vulnerable like that.
By the pressure that Lucian and Leona bring. Oh, that was a really good triple barrel there by the White Lotus top laner. Finn looks like he's pretty comfortable in GP, so maybe we'll see some bans for that in the later games, depending on how well he plays. Yeah, I mean, not much is happening in this mid lane, like you said, but I don't know. I think the CC brings some potential for both teams to be able to sort of play around. I really look forward to them using, like I said earlier, the globals that both teams bring. So hopefully we shall see what happens.
I do like the early game pressure from the top lane to push that down and then get that back on Shen's favor.
Yeah, it lets Shen shove it in and basically be able to rotate without losing any minions, hopefully, when he has his ult up. But we shall see what happens.
So we've got Gragas fading top side, but he's got no jungle.
Just in general, we're pretty even. Bottom lane we're winning pretty hard, which is good. Jungle we're down a bit, which is to be expected because the Graves is going to farm a lot faster.
Bot lane, get the spicy.
Yeah, looks like there's a fight bot lane. Actually, Lucian's the one who gets attacked first. Unfortunately,
that's fine. That's an okay time to back.
Yeah, but that's a decent trade by them. What I kind of expect for White Lotus to do.
You should probably be calling your jungler down here at least to just relieve pressure so you can back. It doesn't have to be a full-on gank, but just something to relieve some pressure.
And just shoved a wave into Lucian, who already has 39. So if he gets those 5 or 6 CS there, he's got about a 15 CS advantage in his 6 minutes. That's pretty good. So yeah,
he actually backed pretty recently. Now that I'm looking at it, so well, maybe not. Did you buy that with the first blood gold? Maybe. So yeah, it might be about time to buy. It would be helpful if I could see how much gold you had. But
one thing I do not like playing bot lane is there's kind of this pressure for pressure's sake. It's got nothing to do with it. It just puts you at a disadvantage.
Yeah, and it looks like Galli's going to be the first to back off mid. Go get some health back. Ooh, Leona missed her E there.
Yep, the Galio backed, and looks like you're just pushing that lane in hard. Good, that should force the TP. That's a good cooldown to know about, or to know that it's down anyways.
Gangplank using a teleport to get back to lane quick.
So now that you force that out, Galio is 6, so unfortunately he still has ulti. So you can look to make a play, but I would attack Galio's lane here. So what you could do is try and generate some pressure in this bottom lane, so maybe do a back right here. You push hard once you get back and have Leona roam up through river, and meet with the Gragas and the Lissandra and try and kill the Galio in mid now that you know his TP's down.
Oh, do you mean Galio?
Galio, sorry. That's a game plan.
I was gonna say, I was like, oh, Gangplank's just walking a lane. That's okay. Yeah, Galio uses TP. He's gonna get some more pressure in the mid lane. Shove it out.
The other option here is to move your Gragas up, into this area. Have your Lissandra push out mid lane and move up as well. Or well, you don't want to move up right away. What you want to do is and then what that allows you to do is if the Lissandra's pushing in hard, and you know the Galio's still there, you can go super aggressive on this bottom lane. So just being able to push out this mid lane is super valuable against Galio.
Gragas, jeez, I forgot his name for a moment there. First blood goes over the GP, and Galio got an assist.
Yeah, I don't know how Galio got an assist there. I wasn't watching, but
I'm not sure how that worked. But Gragas did use flash for that, so that is down.
Both Graves and Gragas flash.
So yeah, we're kind of starting to get to the point where Galio can't really be pushed in, which is fine. It just means that we need to find other ways to make pressure in that mid lane.
Get that lead further and further ahead. Oh, I said first blood, but first blood had already gone over to the Lucian actually earlier, so that was just a kill.
Gragas did a nice trade on Lissandra.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a terrible idea to go for this, as it would help with the Graves rotations and with the Galio rotations in the next little bit, just giving them some extra speed on when they're moving around the map.
Graves is up now, a kill and...
So you're starting to build quite a lead in this top lane, which is good. That's what should happen in this matchup. Now we need to find a way to make use of that. So either we need to attack that top lane, or we need to use the Gangplank ult somewhere to take advantage. This is a pretty good gank, but again, they have global.
And here it is. That is the power of the globals.
Give me like 10 seconds, guys. Just gotta respond to a message real quick. Alright, so, back to it. I want to kind of observe this fight again. So when you draw out this Shen ult, okay, first of all, you should know that the Shen ult's happening. You know Gangplank can't stop it. You also should know that this Galio is rotating down because your Lissandra should be calling it. So at this point, you guys need to leave, because this fight is, you got what you wanted. You got the global out. If you can get the Galio ult without being hit by it, that's a bigger win. So just getting this one ult out and leaving is a really good scenario for you guys. So maybe let me go back 1 second here.
He's up now, a kill and 15 CS. So he's gonna start looking a little strong. If he transitions that to the bot lane.
Yeah, and it looks like actually Gragas was gonna go going for the AP jungle item.
Okay, so Leona got knocked back, that's fine. I was concerned that you had moved forward with your positioning, but getting knocked back is fine. In general, yes, you've seen this now. It's time to back off. So that's what I want you guys to realize here. So this is how you need to play against the globals comp. Is you need to get the global, and then you need to not die to it. So backing off here is fine, because if you back off here and they want to get on you, this Thresh is going to have to flash at you with the Shen on him. Sorry, I want to watch one more time just to make sure I know what's going on correctly, because there's one more comment I might want to make.
Yeah, and it looks like actually Gragas was going to go going for the AP jungle item.
Okay. So yeah.
And here it is. That is the power of the globals.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with what I said. I think that was the correct call. Would have been to just back off there, and yeah, he flashes onto you. Turns out to be a bit of a waste because now your Lissandra's here. So that Galio committed suicide, which made it nice for you guys because it evened out the trade. But that should have been a... Basically, both teams threw that fight quite a bit there.
And it cost him his life.
You notice Shen had to burn TP to get back up here, so that's why drawing out this ult is so good for Gangplank, because if Shen leaves for too long, Gangplank just knocks down this turret. And Gangplank getting first turret is a nightmare to deal with.
So actually, Lucian got a kill, and Zaya got a kill. So both ADCs have a kill.
So now, both globals are down top, both globals are down mid. Now is when you can apply pressure to this bottom lane. Like, more substantial pressure. Like, you're allowed to apply that pressure to the bottom lane to draw out the globals, but now you really want to... So what I want to see is I want to see this Gragas return down here and kill them. But you're going through to farm, so...
As the game goes on, this gameplay
So yeah, if you had just come back out of base and just come right down here, there's a very good chance you get a kill here.
I don't know how they're going to do it, but they really got to start making some pressure top lane.
Well, you're down on... you're lacking CC right now, but yeah, you might be able to do it. It's a lot better chance than it was prior. Especially because you know they have no summoners left except for the Thresh Ignite.
Gangplank might be looking to take this pressure this way.
So basically the big lesson there is when you've invested in an area and your investment pays off, like, go revisit that area, get those kills.
Oh, they still get the taunt, but there's going to be a quick flash of... Okay. Oh, some interesting commitment from the Graves there. He definitely didn't have enough damage, but he decided to try and use his ult there. Not really sure why. But yeah, it was a good little play there. They tried their best, and looks like the Sun is probably going to have to back off, or they might dive her. Or they're going to be going maybe for this, what's the word? I can't think today.
The Rift Herald?
There you go. Maybe they're going to be going for this Rift Herald in a little bit. But, looks like Gragas is going to use pressure. Or, oh my goodness, Predator. Words are not my strong suit right now. Too much thinking. But do they know that GP's right there?
Rough barrel. Gragas Cask, that is. But you still get him anyways, because he just completely disrespected your area there. So, good catch.
But Zaya's putting out damage, but the R is not enough. Lucian cannot get to the Thresh.
We just gotta play that a little better in the Thresh dies. That's...
Zaya, full health.
I'm sure with more practice you guys will be fine killing him there.
Hopefully she doesn't get caught out. She still got her ult.
But yeah, you guys definitely won that, and you should have gotten a kill. But just play better next time, you'll get it.
Dodge the Leona stuff.
Lucian did use flash for that.
Yeah, he tried to flash, but unfortunately it still wasn't enough to get the Thresh. Looks like Galio wants to maybe 1v1 this Lysandra without her ult, which is fair enough.
Another thing to keep in mind this game is if this game does actually get to the really late game, no person on the enemy team can deal with the Gangplank split push. So you guys have that secondary win condition like in the late game that I didn't previously diagnose, but it is there.
There's an ult off and a full combo for Leona. But he is just too dang tanky. Oh, man, but he does go down.
Yeah, I don't know if
Good,
maybe
well
that
played.
Shen
Got a kill.
wasn't up yet, but I'd have to look back on it. But I do believe it was. So
you guys should try and transition that into the dragon. So that this at least allows you to get vision control of this area. I like kind of waiting in a brush there.
Would have been the ideal moment for Shen to.
But yeah, you guys should really be focusing on getting some objective off of that Galio kill. Unfortunately, you've not run out of time because his double levels back up. Shen's is down though, so now you need to attack the Shen. So Gragas, I want to see you come up into this top side and kill this Shen. It also gets your Gangplank ahead and possibly gets him a first turret, which again is huge.
Clear some wards in the river, or they are unaware of the ward they just walked over, and they're just going to go back to them.
But yeah, when you've got a 13-minute Triforce in your Gangplank,
Both teams have
he does a lot of
skills,
damage.
so
All you have to do is support him a little bit and he can get kills.
As the game goes on, top lane's going to get scary. As the game goes on, Zaya's going to get scarier.
Yep. Instead, they're attacking the Gangplank because they know he's strong.
Play top.
Gangplank does use flash, but he is still up. They're on 33 CS.
Yeah, I mean, looks like Hulu will be going for one.
Yeah, it's
more
an unfortunate
play here.
death, but
Galio's in the top two. Is he aware of that?
same with that. So we just gave up 2 quick kills. Both kind of unfortunate. There's really no reason for you to be roaming into your jungle at less than half health with... Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the disconnect. That sucks. But the Gangplank, you don't need to go into this jungle when you're that low. At least not without support. Because you already knew Graves was on this side. You know Shen's still here. You know Galio has both globals up. Like, that's just a very dangerous place to be for you when you're alone.
And it looks like Galley's going to rotate back towards mid. Top still is TP, so he shouldn't miss out on too much CS. But all right, and we are back in the game.
We'll just skip ahead.
Looks like Zai's going to shove in this tower. They might be able to actually get this, but Gragas is bot lane, so it looks like he's going to go in. Zai uses her ult, but then gets immediately knocked up. Flashes the
Alright, you got the flash.
ult there by the Gragas. Is it going to be enough damage?
Unfortunately, you died at the Thresh.
Gragas is going to get his...
Oh, but it is.
It is. I was wrong.
And we need to do a better check of summoner spells. Like, as soon as we get the Zaya ult, like, that's a win. There's no reason to continue on that. That's just expending a lot more resources than we need to. And then we ended up getting, losing a kill for it, which, you know, ends up being a loss, and we spent more resources.
Galio just got his Rod of Ages, so he's going to be stacking that up and be a tanky son of a gun in a little bit. But GP is going to go for a cheap, or not GP, rather, Graves is going to go for a cheeky blue buff steal here. Gonna
He gets away with it, though.
Yeah. And he might just go for this gangplank here if the gangplank's not too careful.
Hiding.
There's the taunt flash. Oh. Very, very close.
You guys actually got away with murder there. Like, the... using... Okay, I can't move the screen. But using Lysandra to ult the Galio was probably a mistake there. That has to target the Graves because he does all the damage. Galio had just spent all of his cooldowns. You have to ult the Graves because he's the one doing the damage at that point.
Yeah, I mean, both mid laners have been doing a really good job of rotating around the map and shoving in the Graves.
So you very nearly lost your gangplank because of that, in my opinion.
Smart about it, but it looks like
I mean, it might have been close, but he might have still lived. But I think the correct, definitely the correct target for that is the Graves.
Gragas might be able to get a few decent ganks off in the bot lane.
And that was a constant theme that I saw throughout this game, was just too many ults going onto the Galio when other targets were available for him. And that's not just Lysandra. That's multiple of your champions this game that did that. I don't want to make it sound like I'm singling you out there, because everyone did it.
Now, Zaya still doesn't have ult.
Good, it was a good gank.
And she's just instantly going to go down.
You're abusing those cooldowns, and that's what I want you guys to do.
They're decided to ult the,
But he's gonna go down.
and is also going to die.
This was really well played, guys. 3 free kills.
Wow.
So that's it. That's a free dragon.
Yeah, and top turret's gone now, too.
And you got first turret. So at this point, we have that substantial lead we were looking for. So at this point, it's just turning that into a victory.
Tried to take a little bit back by stealing some of Gragas' jungle, but I don't know. If they're aware of where Graves is right now, he's got to be really careful. Because their whole team is there.
You guys should be taking dragon right now.
Looks like they're going to try and collapse on him here. Ooh, he's running as fast as he can. He's trying to kite, but this Lucian has red buff. And there he goes.
You guys should still be taking dragon.
Now the Lucian did have
There you
a
go.
flash there, although I'm not really sure he needed to. Takes down the kill on the Graves, and it should be a free Drake for them.
And look at that, you got half a mid turret too. So you guys are actually in a really good spot right now.
I like that they're gonna change next season. The amount of early game tower dives you can make with this team, especially with Leona, is just unstoppable.
Yeah, I mean, Gragas has early decent early
So, you know, at this point, game's going great for us. Really, the only disadvantage we have is in the jungle, where the Graves has a ton of farm, and he does this in the next game too, where he just gets he gets stacked because of how much farming he has.
saddened by the effect that the globals have had for the side of red team. They haven't been given to their full extent, and it kind of shows. Both teams are.
So I actually want you guys to switch it up here. Like right now, you guys are running still your bottom lane in the bottom lane. This sounds weird to say. Once you took that top turret and you got that dragon, it's time to switch. So you guys can push out this wave, but Gangplank should be going bottom right now, and your bottom lane should be looking to back and go top lane, because you're going to lose this turret soon anyways. Gangplank might be able to defend it, especially with how he's clearing those waves. Now that you see that, yeah, he's got Storm Razor and Triforce. So Gangplank can clear waves just fine. Put him down here. Bring your bottom lane up to this top lane, and it gives you priority on this Rift Herald. So it also pressures the Shen. The Shen's not going to get farm. They will likely roll swap with you, and when you catch that swap is when you do this Rift Herald.
Massive ahead of Gragas in terms of gold and.
So once they've seen that they can't push on the Gangplank, they're going to look to back, and that's when you can take that Rift Herald. Or you can just walk your bottom lane up here and just take it right away anyways. Like instead of bringing your Gragas and your bottom lane down here, bring them up here. and then yeah, have your Gangplank come here.
Teammates do it. And unfortunately, they're just
Rift Herald's a great objective here because it guarantees that mid lane take, like right now.
there's more getting some good vision.
And opening up that mid lane is really what you guys want to do here. That bottom lane is not nearly as important as that mid lane right now.
Swap here, or I think maybe GP just wanted to farm. I'm not sure yet.
Blue signaling the Rift Herald. I'm honestly surprised no one's gone for that yet, with it being so strong right now.
Yeah, because now Rift Herald's going to time out, and there's really no reason you guys shouldn't have it being almost 4,000 ahead. Like, you guys should have gotten that Rift Herald.
Play here, but he rushed the team at so he could sort of live up to this farm on the GP. Predator's going to get used by the Gragas, but he's just going to back off in the Galleon.
And your GP's enormous right now, so you guys actually
Rift Herald is gonna
are at a
go,
huge advantage.
Unused in this game.
But right now, unfortunately, there's no objective for you to take because that Rift Herald left. So
Powerful that thing is.
you pretty much just got to farm it out, which is not what you guys wanted to do because you can't. You need objectives to force fights in this game, and you need fights to win the game because you need to snowball it.
They've been making good or red team's been making smart decisions on when to back, but it looks like they might lose their tower.
So that's my biggest criticism right now is not doing the switch to make sure you get that Rift Herald.
I don't think they will, but
This
they're
kind
gonna
of
get
sucks.
damage on the tower,
Blue.
and it looks like there's going to be a couple of big plays from the top. Shen gets his ult off, Galley gets his ult off. There's a CC chain on Alessandra,
Shen is ulting the Graves.
and the GP is going down
Flash
with the flash.
taunt, and
There
he's
it goes.
down.
That is the power of their ultimate. Plays from the top. Shen gets. That they haven't left the lane yet for the most part.
So yeah, what's about to happen?
They've been
This
making
sucks.
good-
It
Red team's been making smart
like it
decisions
just
on when to
happens on
back,
occasion. I
but
don't think you guys saw it.
they might
It's really unfortunate.
here. It depends on how much
You just
health
have to let
they
your Gragas die. It's sad, but you know that they have both their globals up.
They're gonna get some decent damage on the
You guys
tower.
don't win this fight, like ever.
And it looks like there's going to be a couple of big plays from the top. Shen gets his ult off.
So yeah, by
Galley
the
gets his ult off.
fact that
There's a
you don't
CC
have
chain
3
on
people in that fight
Alessandra.
until the Gragas is dead, at which point you go right back down to 2,
Ulting the Graves.
you know that that's a lost fight. And you know what? They still have the Shen shield, and they still have the Galio ult.
Taunt, and
There
he's
it goes.
down.
We just gotta,
That is
we
the
gotta
power
just
of
give it
their
up there.
ultimate. I mean, if
Yeah,
we
it's
were
unfortunate,
there
but
and you
I don't think there's any
back
cases where you win that.
At least further ahead in my books. Red team's even gonna get a teleport here. They're gonna keep going. Galio's here, gonna get the perfect taunt, gonna slam up that.
That
Lucian,
stun
and
has
he's
to be on the
going down.
Galio. He's the threat there, not the Thresh.
Kill them both.
He's
They've
gonna
gotta be
get
really
off-
careful.
And they're gonna get out. That
Yeah.
is crazy. I would expect to see a bit more aggressive play by that Leona. Easily.
Well,
should
I
have
just
been
think
able
all
to
of our
take that.
cooldowns are down. But what that means is that the early game pressure that the Lucian had, I mean, he's still there and he's still definitely ahead, but they're getting some kills back on the board. It's 9-9 now. The gold difference is only 1k.
Yep. So the gold lead was
That
was
a
4K.
4-kill swing for
Then we
them
had
with that
basically one unfortunate thing happened to us, and now it's 1K. So we lost
This is, I wouldn't say
3K worth of gold. So this is how fast games can turn, and we just gotta, make sure we're making correct choices most of the time. So it's knowing when you have to give up a person or whatever, because if you just lose the Gragas, it's only 300 gold. It's not the end of the world.
She could have moved out the tower if Leona backed.
I know it
That was a
sucks to hear from the Gragas' perspective that sometimes your teams just have to give you up there, but happens to all of us.
They were down, I believe.
We make a mistake, or something just completely random like that happens, and your teammates just gotta let you die.
The blue team did get the mid lane there, and it looks like they're going to rotate for this bot lane. Zaya's getting ulted, but he's still going to get stunned.
Again, really good use of the knowledge of the cooldowns there. So,
Going down.
like, you guys show the skills that you need to run this comp. Like, you're observing the cooldowns, or at least I think you are, because it looks like you're specifically attacking that lane when the Zaya ult is down. Because it's twice now you've done it. So I like this push, and I like what you tried to do. Don't break that barrel, because that's useful positioning.
Galio and Graves react.
Both mid lane and Shen in top aren't doing
So yeah, you guys are getting multiple bottom lane turrets now, and right now in this game, bottom lane turrets are the most important turrets in this game, because if you can get this inhib, that's a free Baron for
They're
you.
not going to get it to it in time. That tower is going down.
Yeah, after some really, really smart plays by Red Team, they just make some kind of disappointing decisions here.
And Zaya going down quick.
Gragas
So look at this, you got an inhib, free Baron.
but
Also sorry about the Facebook noises.
they don't have a lot of health, and
They're going to trade kills, but
So now to get Baron, all you have to do, put your Gangplank in this lane, run your other 4 next to the Baron,
gold difference. They traded
wait for the Gangplank to get pressure, If two people ever show in that Gangplank's lane, you start it. Because even if it's Galio and Shen, only Shen can go to you. Galio is too far away to go to you. Unfortunately, you're without teleport, you're without Gangplank ult. The Gangplank ult will be back up by the time you're pressuring burn, but the teleport won't be. So, you at least have your global to fight that. Unfortunately, losing this Infernal sucks, but... Actually, let me see when that spawned.
Baron here, because I don't think the Shen's going to be able to right now. So, unfortunately, the pressure that they had is a couple outer towers, and they lose their inhib.
Okay, yeah, it's not up, so yeah, you guys can't take that. Okay, so that's just the price of the inhib, is that Infernal Drake.
They could quite easily get this Drake for free to force a fight, and maybe just win off that, depending on how well it goes for them. Really good dodge there by the Galio. If he'd got engaged on there, he probably would have been dead, but he's going to walk.
So the other option you could run, instead of running the Gangplank in this bottom lane, is you can run him in the mid lane, have the rest of the four run into this jungle, get vision down, and then move on to this Baron and just deny any vision they try and put. So pink ward like right here, pink ward here, and then just wards all throughout here. And you guys are putting these wards down, which is good. I like to see that. Okay, hang on. We don't need these catches. It's good that you get, but it's also a bit risky considering we have no vision of this area. We have no vision down here. So we're going into an isolated area in the middle of it, like a dark-shaped U. So that can be punished, and it's a little risky. You guys got away with it. No, I'm not going to go back and look at, exactly when you last saw everyone, because that would be one question you could ask. So yeah, this should be a free Baron, because you see the Xayah in the bottom lane clearing those waves. They can't challenge you with the Xayah there. And this is good. Should be a free Grave Sketch. And that's fine, you guys have 5 minutes to take this Baron. There's no hurry.
I don't know about this going down here right now.
Galio's ult is down 2 now, and they've killed the Gragas here. Wow. I think they should have just gone for the Baron there, but, I mean, and they've killed the Gragas here. Shenol's going to come through, and Graves is going to get out. And he got
one thing to note is that you guys don't need to finish this fight. Yeah.
I don't know about this going down here right now.
So all you need to do is delay, because you have this wave pushing into the top lane. You know bottom lane's permanently pushing. All you have to do is force out cooldowns here, and then go back to the Baron. You don't have to fight. Your primary goal is to take this Baron, because that's what your comp needed to do. You needed to snowball into this late game and get this. You get this Baron and then take down inhibs. You already have one down, so in great shape. This is a wasted teleport.
Already so far away with a Shenol coming in to save him.
And Lysandra teleports to the open inhib, but immediately has to back off.
There's no way they let you push into that, so yeah, that's a completely wasted teleport. So actually, I completely forgot you had teleport, because you could be in this bottom lane pushing this up, Gangplank could be in this mid lane pushing this up, everyone else could be near the Baron area, and you guys could be in great shape. Because the Gragas and the Leona have more than enough tanky stats to tank that Baron for a while, and for long enough to take the Lucian take it. So all you guys really need to do is just keep pressuring this area, and basically just let the minions do their work. Unfortunately, you don't have this top wave pushing anymore. It still will with this wave approaching, so this is actually going to slow push for you. So all you guys need to do is set up your Baron timing so that it happens right when the minions are right about here. Because then it lets the minions hit this turret, and then you guys hit the Baron at the same time. So they have to choose between damage on this turret or basically stopping the Baron. And every time they're going to pick the Baron, so you're going to get free damage on this turret if you do that. And just doing that over and over again while you challenge that Baron, because the Baron isn't necessarily how you win the game. Like it's definitely a good facilitator, a good catalyst, but you win by blowing up turrets. So if you're getting turret damage and they're not doing anything to stop it, then that's free for you. There's no need to fight this. Keep in mind, you guys are in the driver's seat. You don't have to fight. It's on them to engage on you. So that's just what I want to really break down to you guys. Like, yes, you guys have the engage comp, but you don't have to be the one starting the fight, necessarily. Keep in mind that you guys also have powerful disengage with that Gragas ult. So there's no reason for you guys to be diving turrets when you have pressure going into this bottom lane, and when you have, well, this lane's going to push out now, but
looks like there's going to be
when you have
another
pressure in
distance
multiple
on the
lanes,
CC here.
you don't need to
Gotta
fight,
really be
because
careful.
you win if nothing
And it
happens.
looks like Zai's gonna be forced to ult. They might just want to turn on this Leona here, but Leona flashes away. It's gonna Graves is gonna get off his Zanya's, or rather the other item. I can't remember what it's called, but nothing's gonna happen. A lot of stuff's used. Graves goes in and is instantly CC'd.
Yep, at this point all you guys have to delay, because oh, your minions are hitting that bottom inhib? I can't tell from here. I wish I could see it.
Gragas is a little scared to go in here, and they just sort of back off with 1 kill on Leona.
Sandra has to make a quick flash out. I'm not so sure why she went in. This is starting to look like more of a team deathmatch rather than a...
So yeah, I think what our big problem here is we're too focused on the fight, and I don't know if this was explained to you guys maybe poorly in the champion select, or if we're just kind of having a misunderstanding about what our comp wants to do, or just kind of how to play these late game situations out. It's that we want to make sure that we're focusing on objectives. The fights are secondary. The fights are how we achieve objectives. And if we're achieving objectives without fights, then that's perfect, because there's no risk. Fights are risky.
You know what I mean? They've got a decent amount of damage. They got a decent amount of CC. It's a little bit harder for Leona to be getting out CC now because she can only hit one person.
And this is one of the big complaints I have with the with the main team too, is they do this kind of crap all the time. So it's not everyone. It's pretty much everyone with limited competitive experience that will do things like this. You'll notice kill score we're looking at 26 and 29 minutes, which actually isn't terrible. I think it was when they were looking at all the world's teams. I think they looked at IG and they had the highest at like 0.8 or something kills per minute, I guess, for both teams. So you guys are probably pretty close to that, I would say. And so it's like, but that's the absolute highest of any of the teams there, and IG is considered a bloodthirsty team. So we need to make sure that what I really want you guys to do is bring it back and focus on all of these kills that are happening. It's like, do these fights need to happen? And then if they happen, are they the most optimal fights to take?
Are just about the same with about a 500 lead on Leona. Looks like they're just going to be clearing some wards. They're a little scared. I think everyone's
So yeah, you can win games like this. It's just, like I said, it's risky.
like
Sandra's going in big.
And this is also not a good engage.
Got no flash to get out.
almost dead. And there goes Lysandra. There's the Galley ult. And in comes Galley with a taunt.
So again, I think we're just tunnel visioning and realizing, hey, we have a ton of engage. I see a decent engage, let's go for it. When that's not the only consideration we need to take in for this game. So we end up just getting 5-0 and then they take the Baron and win, pretty much.
Especially with that Infernal they picked.
And the supports are just about the same.
So what I want you to do is look at the positioning of the enemy team when you engage this fight. And this goes for anyone who's going to be engaging fights on your team. So pretty important on your support. If you're going to be playing a lot of Lysandra, important on you.
I think everyone's a little scared to start these fights.
Look at this positioning. Who can help you right now? Okay, I'm going to give you even benefit of the doubt. Assume your entire team is right here. Who can help you right now? The answer is still no one, because this Galio's sitting here. He has taunt, he has his justice punch, he has all that stuff. So they are not going to be able to get through him before you go down. Because keep in mind, you do not have a Zhonya's Hourglass. This ult is your last survivability. As soon as this goes down, you have a free game for anyone here. And you know that they still have Shen here. You know he has ult. So you know that he's coming in. The only support you have is going to be a Gangplank ult coming down here. And unfortunately that's just not enough damage. Keep in mind that your range is also pretty short. Gangplank has the most range on your team with his barrels, but even so that damage only comes in every 5 seconds or so. So you've put yourself in a very compromised position, and normally this is an okay engage, except that this is Galio. And your team, I even gave you the benefit of the doubt earlier when you said your team's here, but your team's back here. I know you can't really see the edge of my screen there. So, right now Lucian is the only one who can even hit Galio, and you're trying to target this Graves down back here. So, unless you can blow him up instantly, this engage is not really worth it. And I'm going to tell you right now, you can't blow him up instantly because he's a Shen. So, this goes for all your supports, by the way. Anytime you engage, like, oh, you went on the Xayah, sorry, I couldn't see it on the screen. But yeah, you can't instantly blow up the Xayah either way. So really, it's just making sure that we understand, can my team follow me if I make this engage? It's multiplied when you're on a damage dealer like Lissandra.
Get that double.
Because Leona, if you engage and nothing happens, then you still have all your damage alive. But, yeah, it's unfortunate.
That is a freeze Baron now.
So yeah, I think our main problem, and this goes for everyone on the team, is we're just engaging fights haphazardly. Like, we're not understanding when is a good time to fight and when it isn't.
Or she thought her team was closer by, but again, it's some more miscommunication for these teams. Lissandra goes in, gets insta-killed, they get some return CC, they get a good flash taunt from both Galio and Shen, and they trade 5 for 0.
Another concern I have with what I've seen this game is that we're not abusing the split pushing at all. We have 2 strong split pushers in Lissandra and Gangplank, and I've yet to really see much pressure applied. Like, we saw more in the early game than we are now, and normally this is a good time to really set up that split push and get objectives off of it.
Other dragons for free here. They've got now a Cloud Drake and a Flame Drake, so they're going to scale definitely better with that Flame Drake, and the Cloud Drake just allows them to rotate faster. They should be able to get this bot tower here for free with the Baron empowered minions. Shen's going to push from the top. It's looking pretty
Honestly, that might be the last eventful thing that happens in this game. I might just skip ahead a little bit and see if I can find anything else, but I'm going to guess that that's pretty close to the end of the game there. But I'm going to stop talking for a little bit and see if I can find anything else.
Yeah, I mean, Xayah is now only about 1 point and out of the Leona stuff, so she's playing really super far behind, so she decided, hey, and out of the Leona stuff, so she's playing really smart.
By the way, if you're an enemy team, or if you're a team with Baron, don't do this crap. Why are you farming your jungle with Baron?
Should honestly be able to almost. Who
Now
knows?
the problem, I think that
But I mean, then the other one getting a tower. So I think
honestly,
ideally they should be going 1-1, but it looks like they're going to stick for the 1-4.
I don't know if you
Shoving
can
bot lane.
take away their GP away from that team fight.
Yes, and the enemy team should be
one.
1-3-1. Well, they should be 1-1-3ing. They should have Shen, Galio, and then the 3 in the bottom lane.
Ooh. And that Leona got instantly CC'd there. They were, I think they were aware, they were waiting for the Leona to try and come in. Graves walked up, lets him take the go with this wave bot lane. And there's the GP gold difference. And now
Alright, let's watch this fight.
in this tower. They're gonna walk right in.
Alright, let's look at this fight again. Who are your targets? These 2. What's in your way? Galio. So we need to be careful. While this Galio's here, we need to find some other way to get to these 2, and that's primarily going to be in your Gragas. So Gragas needs to land like move up here and like flash body slam both of these and barrel them into you. I know that it's like super hard for you to do that. Meanwhile, the Leona wants to like CC this Galio, things like that, so that your damage dealers can hit these 2. Because you want to be able to kill Xayah before she's able to move. Because if she gets this ult off, she has flash, she has heal, she's going to live. Like, she has a ton of cooldowns up. And unfortunately, we're just kind of in a bad spot at this point in the game. But, I mean, right now we have our Gragas going on the Thresh. Not great. And then you have your 3 damage dealers on the Galio. Not great. And then we don't even have Gangplank, who's probably the most of our damage right now. Or, well, no, Lucian's the most of our damage, now that I'm looking at it. But Gangplank is a huge chunk of our damage. Especially for range damage. Because as you can see, these 280 carries have been untouched, and we just lost 2 people. We're about to lose 3. They still haven't been touched. Yeah, GP ult's a little late. So we have to realize when the conditions of the fight aren't correct, we need to stop the fight somehow. So that's using the Gragas barrel to disengage. One thing you can do is if you feel like you can burst this Galio down, which at this point you probably can't, because you don't have the Gangplank there. If you had the Gangplank there, you can use that Gragas barrel just to separate their backline from their front line, bring the front line under the turret. So, you know, bring Galio in here, and then you burst him down with all your damage. He's built pretty tanky though, so that's a little difficult. So there's a few different ways you can be playing these fights, but unfortunately we're just so far behind at this point that it's hard to say which one. Because our comp, again, was reliant on the early game. Well, it's reliant on the mid game, and then transitioning that into a lead in the late game. But we have a deficit in the late game, so if the game was even, we would be losing fights in the late game. So now we're behind, so we're really losing fights. So again, this is just kind of what I expected at this point. And you lose bottom and mid inhibs. So enemy team's just going to back, they're going to go top, and they're going to finish the game most likely.
He got in there and just unloaded.
Oh yeah.
Up.
Their team isn't there for the fight. They're good. The red side is just gonna have to wait while mid.
So yeah, at this point we're pretty much in a comp loss. Our comp just can't deal with their comp at this point in the game. Keep in mind your CCs don't stop the Galio's taunt, so I've seen us use some CCs into him at that point. It's fine to stop him from moving, but we just need to be careful not to overkill it.
Almost goes down. Everybody's looking so low. Gets a Graves good off there, but it does not kill anybody. And he might go down here.
Okay, guys. Yep, at that point, we've won the fight. Go back, heal up, get your waves.
Got that lantern. That was fairly spicy, but everybody walks out of there mostly. Make a pick.
Yep, they get the Baron. That's game over, pretty much, because they'll just go top lane, and it's fine. They'll send Shen bottom lane with the Baron buff.
One of the two berries and sort of CC them long enough for.
Oh yeah, they get the Elder Drake too, so they have double buffs.
Looks like blue team's gonna try and take it.
Yes, and you guys have to fight this. If you lose this, it's 100% game over. Like, there's no way they lose a fight with both these buffs up.
I mean, they're gonna try and scare off the Galio here, but the Gragas goes down, and red team's waves are still pushing in.
Yeah, and the loss of the Gragas there is, it's over. So, yep, game over. Not too bad, we got a lot to learn from. Mostly picking our fights correctly. Cool.
To get a really good steal here from GP. Galio might go down. CC off, and like I said, Frost.
Alright, and stuff happens, they blow up the Nexus. That's game. Alright, I'll be back with game 2 hopefully soon. When I get the chance, I'll record it for you guys. I'll put this one up right away though. So, lots to learn from, but hopefully stuff that you guys can work with. Cool. Talk to you guys in the next one.